Hello. As you might have guessed, my name's Johnny Miller, and I'm here this afternoon to give you a little bit of a clinic and give you a little knowledge of the game that I've learned over the past 25 years. You know, many of you watch TV and you read books and you study the game, you go to professionals for advice, and quite honestly, it can be very confusing, and I'd like to show you really the way I play golf and the kind of things that go through my mind, and maybe they'll help you lower your handicap a little bit. And I'd like to start now by going through the basic fundamentals, and then maybe later on we'll go into some questions and answer some of these things you've been troubling you about your game, and you all go home invigorated and ready to play. I'd like to really right now say most of you don't get to the practice tee and hit balls, so I could say, well, I'm going to sit here and warm up slowly like most of the pros do by hitting 50 or 60 practice balls, but most of you run to the first tee and you're very stiff and you're nervous because you don't know how you're going to hit the ball. So some of the things I'd recommend you doing is take your time and get to the course early enough that you don't have to rush around. The other thing is when you're loosening up, go ahead and take one club out of your bag and just swing nice and relaxed until your wrists start to feel nice and loose, like somebody just put oil in your wrist. Then if you're still stiff, maybe you want to grab another club like this. You'll see Lee Trevino doing this a lot. He takes 2 or 3 clubs sometimes, and he grabs 2 clubs, and he swings nice and smooth until those muscles start stretching out, big muscles in your back. I do that sometimes, but I find that if you do that, when you grab the one club again, it feels so darn light after swinging the 2 or 3 clubs that you can't even feel the shot. So what I do then is I go ahead and turn it upside down, which is a good thing to do. It's very light, the handle's very light, and when you swing that 4 or 5 times, then when you turn it back around, all of a sudden you can feel the club head again. And you'll find that this will really help you. And I would go through this procedure every time you tee off, especially when you don't have a chance to hit practice balls, which includes most of you. We'll go into the basic fundamentals now. Obviously, the grip has got to be the most important thing you do. It's the only thing holding on to the club. You know, we can't even get it out of the bag unless we grab it with our hands. So what I try to do here is I use what I call a palm-to-palm type method, in that I think that the good Lord made your arms to hang straight down and your hands to hang straight down, and I try to put the back of this hand at the target and this one at the target, and put your palms in this position. A lot of you grip the club with your palms facing the wrong way. We call that on the tour in the United States, get your hand like this, we call it the Harley-Davidson grip, because you start here and then you go run, run, run. This game is basically just hand-eye coordination, so if you can get your hands facing the target, it's much easier to return your hand here at impact than it is to here, because the target is that direction. So I think it'll help you in many areas, the left hand. The other thing is, with the weak left-hand grip, I call it weak, it's really strong. Ben Hogan called it strong. The advantage of that is that because your hand is farther to the left, you can hit harder with the right because your hand doesn't turn over as much. If you get in a stronger position, it's a hooker's position. Even though many of you are fighting the slice, if I can get you to listen to what I have to say today, and if you can adapt this grip, you'll learn how to correctly release through the ball. Most people don't know how to release. The way you get this, like I said, is you grab it on with this finger and stick it up on this pad of this left hand. You'll see the pad here. You don't want it in the middle of the hand, because then you get this gap. That'll cause you to lose the club on top too, because it moves around. What you want to do is get it here and stick it down very low in your hand, almost straight across, and you'll notice, you see how tight that is on there? If I get it here where most of you have it, no matter what I do with that hand, I'm still going to have the gap in there. Many of you have it. If you have it up here, it carries your hands very high and locks your swing. If you get it down in your hands, in your fingers more, almost straight across, it makes your hand action a lot freer. The right hand, what I do is use an overlapping grip, in that you take your hand, and when you slide it up the grip, as the little finger hits this finger, you just take it and let it slide up there, and then you put it right in the groove. You'll notice it's not on top of the knuckle, it's not over here, it's right in the middle of the groove of this hand right here. The right hand, what you want to do is, there's also a little groove here in your right hand. You want to stick it right on your thumb. It fits there just beautifully. You don't want to stick it over here or behind here, but right on top of the thumb. And you'll notice that your V's, when I say V's, this V right here and this V here are pointing basically at your chin to your right shoulder. You don't want to go right of that, and you don't want to go left of that. And you'll see in my grip that I'm just about at my chin, or just slightly right of my chin as I'm looking at it. As far as posture and stance, I'm a great believer in putting your body the way it was made to be put. You don't want to get up there with arms in all different positions and stand up here like this. What you want to do is stand up to the ball so that everything is just the way. If I was looking straight out that way, that's the way I want you to look. and then you flex your legs like you're going to sit on a little bit of a chair that's back here, and you stick your arms straight out, just like this, and very relaxed, and let them drop. That's how far you should be playing the ball from your body. You shouldn't be out here, you shouldn't be in here, you shouldn't be anywhere else. You'll find that if you get in this posture, it's almost like it would be almost like if somebody was going to throw you a ball, a half bouncer ball, you'd get down and you'd catch it like that. You wouldn't bend over like this and catch it. You get in a position, it's a sort of a jumpy, very balanced position. See, the key to it is, as you bend from the waist over, if you didn't stick your rear out a little bit, you wouldn't have any balance. If I stuck it here and bent over, I'd fall right over. So the key is, to get your balance, is to get back with your rear a little bit and bend over, suck in your stomach and bend over from the waist. Gives you a lot of room to swing. As I said again, as you stick your arms out and drop it, you'll find your natural position is pretty much one hand from your legs. Many, many, many of you, I can't tell you this enough, have a tendency to stick your hands out here and then you swing this way. I can swing as hard as I want from this position, and that's as hard as I can hit it. And if I put my hands down nice and relaxed, I can hit it 10 times farther. I mean, if I didn't tell you anything else, to make you enjoy the game, get your hands to hang just the way they naturally hang. Pretty much discussed, I think, posture, grip, and stance. I'm going to go a little bit into the swing, what I believe to be the correct way to take the club back. I learned growing up to hit a lot of balls one-handed, left-handed, because I was trying to build up my left side. I'm naturally left-handed, which is an advantage, but I found that if you can learn to swing with one-handed, left-handed, you'll always be on the plane. The culprit of losing your plane is your right side. Your right side does not want to work right. It always wants to extend too quick, take over, and so if you can get feeling what it feels like to take it back one-handed, left-handed, you notice that I'm right on the plane on this swing. And you'll notice one other thing, too, that I learned from doing this. When I get in this position, I'm not at the standard position that everybody strive for in the olden days, and a lot of them still do it. That's this position here. It would be very awkward if I swung like this one-handed. It'd be a very unnatural position. You'll find that your wrists naturally want to cock nice and slowly. It's a gradual thing, and by the time you get to about right here, you have a full wrist cock. I feel like the longer you have your full wrist cock, the more time you have to, even if you're outside the line here, you can feel your wrist and you can drop it in. Or if you're inside, you can come right over. But if you're one of these guys that frees your wrist here, and then at the last minute you're in your wrist cock position, boy, it's too late. If you're off, you're going to hit one so far that even the monkeys won't find it. And so if you want to hit the ball straight, the new evolution of the swing, I believe, is an earlier set of the left wrist. It's a natural thing. If you watch the way the left wrist does it by itself without the right hand, you'll learn that early set is a very natural thing, and it works beautifully on chips. You wouldn't want to hit a chip like this. I mean, it's just not natural. So learn to cock, uncock the wrist. The other thing I want to tell you, you read a lot about the square-to-square method. I'm going to show you what square-to-square really is. Square-to-square is no matter where you stop your swing, that looks like it's open. If I readjust it, I'm square. No matter where I stop the swing, even on the follow-through, that looks like I'm pronating over. You see, when I come back around, I'm still in the exact same position I was at address. Many of you were taught this position right here, which looks very nice. If you watch this, how'd you like to address the ball there? Or how would you like on this position here? They teach you to keep the left hand square. How'd you like to address the ball there? Square to square, no matter where I stop that swing, I don't care if it's way up in here, I'm still right at the address position. It's right on the line with my left wrist. It's not turned over, it's not turned open. And if you'll notice that if you watch your right hand, one thing I practice, I go into a door jam and stand in the door jam. Here's the door jam, and put my right hand right on the wall there, and I learn to swing so that I have to make no compensations. The old square-to-square method, if you were here and the wall was here, it'd take an unnatural move to hit it. And you watch if it opens here, you can give it a good natural release every time and hit it solid. So if this club is this hand, you'll notice that it opens and it closes. That's a very natural thing. You can play years and years and years and years if you learn to go, but it's sort of an open closed method, but in reality it's square to square. That's square to square. And I testify, or I challenge anybody to tell me that's not the way it is. As far as the downswing, I have one thing to say to you. Here's the average downswing of the player. He gets it back here, and watch the right leg. He goes like this with the shoulders. Right? How many times have you seen that? right leg does nothing. If you were going to throw a ball, I'm left-handed, so I might mess you up a little, but if you were going to throw a ball, you had the ball here, the first thing you would do is push off with this back leg. See, that's the first thing it does. Your hands haven't done anything. They're basically still down where you are. Do you see? Same way with hitting a baseball or anything else. The first thing you do is move your legs. You push off with the body. Now, it's the same darn thing in golf. If you want to hit the ball with power and not let your right side take over, what I try to do is I set my right foot right at the target, right angles to that target. And when I get that thing, I go ahead and put it in. Sometimes I even practice with a golf ball underneath my foot here to make sure I push off. But I get the leg here, and you watch my right leg, and it initiates that downswing. I get up on the top, and the first thing I'm trying to do is drive that knee right through the ball. Many of you are just hitting this way, you're going. And you've seen that so many times, right? What you want to do is get it up here, and the first thing down, watch my right knee. You see it's driving right through to the target. And when you end up, your leg should be in this position. You shouldn't be all over the ball. I consider that to be the most vital thing in the downswing. If the right leg initiates the downswing, what it's going to do is going to take all the pressure off your hands to release. If your right leg does nothing, you're going to always end up in this position or something on that order. As far as follow-through is concerned, I have a little bit of a trick that is very easy to understand. Many of you can understand this. What you want to do is, I call it a C. From the tips of your toes to the tip of your head is sort of a C. If you can create that C, suck in your stomach so you got the C and your rear end a little bit back. If you can keep that C throughout your swing, it's a beautiful action. But many of you watch the C, watch what happens. It's gone. If you can keep the C through your swing, it's very, very difficult to come over the top of the ball. In that when you come down, if you keep your stomach in, keep down through the ball and keep in this position. It's something I admire in many of the good players, in that they're in here and they finish up here with a nice high follow through. If my stomach goes out, watch where my follow through goes. You see that? If you want a good high finish, you keep in that C position. I learned that a little while ago, and it's sort of it's helped my swing and helped my performance a lot. And I think that it would do you all some good if you worked on that. The follow-through, obviously, your weight ends up on your left foot. Some good players even slide the right foot to ensure that their weight is on the left foot, and you finish up in a position almost ready to take a walk afterwards, right at the target. You know, I've just about gone through the swing. I don't want to carry on and on and on, but I'd really like at this time, if I can, to have you ask some questions. I know you got questions. This game is so tough, believe me. But if you got some questions, why don't we have some right now?
What I'd like to know is, should every shot be approached the same way?
Well, that's a very
good setup.
That's a very good question. The setup, the beauty about the setup is that, as I told you, if this is an 8-iron and I put my hands out, my setup is the same except for the stance widens. Let's say on the 8-iron, this is my normal stance on the 8-iron. What you want to do, as the club goes out and it drops, you'll notice that the ball is going to be closer to you. As the club lengthens, obviously, if this is a driver and I do that, it's going to drop out here. So you keep your same proximity as far as your body position, and the only difference, and it's a very important difference, is this head business. On a wedge, your stance is much narrower, and you watch where my head is. This is very, very important. As my leg drops back, my right leg drops back, watch my head. Watch this. You know, they tell you in the books that you should sweep your long shots and you should hit down on your short shots? They don't really tell you how to do it. They just say that's what you should be doing. If you get up to the ball, let's say this is an 8-iron, and lay your head like this, I can guarantee before I even see you hit a shot, you're going to have trouble blocking it out, you're going to have trouble hitting it thin, and you're going to have trouble hitting it behind it. If you get your head like this, I can promise you have trouble coming over the top of the ball, taking very deep, gougy divots, and topping the ball. You know, it's logical. So what you want to do is you want to walk up to the ball with your head, your neck straight. Now, you can turn your head like a Jack Nicklaus all you want, but keep your head straight, your neck straight. Don't lean it over like this or this way. You don't walk down the street like this. So what you want to do is walk up to the shot and just look at it and say, how you doing there, ball? I'm going to hit you right down the middle. And you look at it nice and straight. And if you want to turn your head, that's fine, or whatever. But it'll give you a chance, give you uniformity. So let your head naturally, if this is a 3-iron, let it just naturally drop back here, and then you're in a nice relaxed position. Otherwise, you're fighting it all the time. You know, we're fortunate enough here today to have quite a few renowns, really, and I know we have one real golf enthusiast, and Sean Connery, and I know he must have some golf questions. So why don't you come out here, Sean, and lay on one, okay?
Well,
I'll clap for him.
I even brought a club.
Okay, you're ready, huh?
No, I've been absolutely fascinated by your lessons. Everybody has around here, or your clinic, whatever they want to call it. And it seems an absolute change of everything, and it's so beautifully explicit and implicit.
No, thank you.
That the one thing that I would like to know is, how do you trigger? You've got everything, your grip, your stance, your setup, your head's behind, you're square, you're turning on the leg.
You have been listening.
And one's on the chin, the one's between the chin. But how do you then, your first movement back from the ball is your hands, or?
That's a good question. I don't know why I didn't go into that. What I try to do, and I think it's very important, is that the rhythm is created. It's like a guy dancing. And no matter what you do from the waist up, if you're not rhythmic from the waist down, you might as well forget it. You're going to look lousy. So it's the same way in golf. And many of us, in fact, every good player I've ever seen has a forward press. And what most of the players are doing now is this right knee sort of triggers it. You'll see a Gary player, you'll see myself, you'll see many of the players. What they do is the first motion away, they'll pull that knee in and then push it right out to that position. That's one of the common ways to start your takeaway. One thing that I do too, and I don't know if I got it from Elite Trevino or not, but he does it also, is that before I go, I start, you can almost watch my shot, I start tapping my left foot. I don't know what I'm doing there, but I just do it. So the forward press initiates your backswing, but once your forward press is started, what I try to do from here really is try to just push the club away. The first, I'd say 12 inches should be low and slow. Arnold Palmer's dad said to him when he went out to the tour, he says, "Pal, if you started out low and slow, you're going to win some money." And I think whether it's a $1 Nassau or $60,000 check, I really believe that if those hands, the knees initiate it with the rhythm is always in the feet and the knees, I believe. The knees initiate it and it carries. You'll almost notice that my left knee and my hand start synonymously. Watch this. I'm not one of these guys that believe in going here and all kinds of move. I really believe that the hands and also the left knee might be a split second behind, but the left knee, watch the left knee. It's right there with the club, and that gives you some good extension. How's that, Sean?
Very good. Thank you very much.
Not bad for a
now
hack,
I'm
huh?
complete.
Now you got it, right? Said, look out, Nicholas. How'd you like to hit one for us?
All right, I'll hit one. You tell me what I'm doing right.
Okay, I will. That'll take about 3 words, right?
Am I allowed to 2? You've got an 8 hand. I'll try a 5 iron.
Okay, we'll watch you hit this
I
one.
can get my... I'm going to attempt everything that you're saying, of course.
Holy mackerel. Good luck. Not bad, huh? I clap for that one. Right on. Good shot. I'll say one thing real quick about Sean, that all he needs to do, obviously he's got a good address position and a good grip, and he has a very good backswing. One thing that I think would help him even a little bit more is that if this club head would open up a little bit more on the backswing, he would subconsciously move it through on the downswing, close it up, really square it up. But what happens is he's a little bit shut here, which makes the right shoulder too high. You notice if you hood it here, you're high, and then you don't know what to do. You have to move this way through the ball. So try to work on this little technique that has been shown before, but you start here and your elbow collapses against your right side, and then it collapses against your left side. And you notice the club face, open, close, open, close. If you can do that, you know, I showed a guy this that sliced the ball. I'm not kidding, he sliced the ball all his life. And all I did to him at his waggle, besides do this, on his waggle, I had him draw it slightly to the inside and open, close, open, close, open, close. And then I just had him hit it with that action, and he hit 3 drives in a row, longest balls he'd ever hit in his life, he said, with a little draw. And this little open-close technique is really good. I think it would help you, Sean. Why don't you try one here? I want to see this act. I want you to see your waggle. All I want you to do is waggle it slightly, just straight back and straight through, but open, close. And just think of that. The door opens to here, and it closes right to straight. Open, close. Okay?
Okay.
That's Not bad. That's not bad. For the first try, that's not bad at all. Right on. Congratulations. That's super. Another one of our famous people that are here with us is the great fighter, Henry Cooper, and I'd like to see you hit a couple balls, too. Come on out, Henry.
Thank you, Johnny.
Nice to see you. Super. Thank you. Henry obviously is left-handed. I'm left-handed, but I don't play that way. But we want to watch him hit a couple because there's a lot of left-handers out there that like to see some of the common things that they do, right and wrong. Let's see you hit one here.
Right, let's see what we can do.
You got all these, you've been listening to all this stuff, huh?
Listening, I think.
I hope you're not all messed up.
Good contact, Henry.
A little bit, boy, you sure smacked it, but you hit it a little bit right field, huh?
Yeah.
I've noticed with left-handers, they all do the same thing. Almost everyone I've ever seen, they play the ball too darn forward with their hands behind it. What I'd like you to do is get that ball so it's opposite your left heel more. Go ahead and address it. There you go. Okay, and the other thing is I want you to get those hands so that they're one hand from the leg. You've got it about 3 hands, okay? Okay, drop them down there. In other words, you might have to bend over more from the waist to get them down there. Okay, now nice and relaxed and swing out on it. Well,
From the other.
now that one,
To see.
that one right there, that's right. You, as Sean back there said, he's a good pupil and a good teacher. He helped me out this week a little. What you want to do is keep in that C position. There, that one you went this way, and one time you blocked it, one time you came over it.
Oh, I see.
So I
we've
think
got
once
to
you
keep in that C.
Why don't you try it one more? In other words, get the ball position off your left heel, get your hands down, and keep your C. And then you got everybody else's money. There you go, right at the pin. You might have a hole in one. Right on. Great shot. How about that shot, partner? That's great. You did it better than Sean. That was a great shot by Henry Cooper. It almost went in the hole. And we have one more golf enthusiast and a great actor, and Christopher Lee, and I'd like him to come out here and show his swing. He's got a good golf swing. Nice to see you, Christopher. Good to see you. Come on over. Okay. Now, that was more solid.
Well, I thought it was
Now, that ball there, you had that ball too far forward. That's exactly where you're aimed. I don't know if any of you noticed that. It looked to me like there was no way you could hit the ball solid from that position. It just
was that,
looked too far forward, just too darn far forward. And that's really, you made a good swing to hit it right where you did. Get it back in your swing. That's too far forward. Yeah, it's too far forward. There you go. Okay, now let that club brace the right foot and then push off. There's perfect. That's a good swing. Good shot there. Come on, bounce right down by the hole there. That was much more solid, though.
Great deal better than many of them have been. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's good. I've been doing a lot of talking and not much hitting, and I bet you maybe a few of you would like to see me hit a couple balls. I think, Ted, why don't I get a 5-iron here and try hitting a couple little shots. I'll show you some things to watch for. The divot that you take is a great indicator of what you're doing because you can't see yourself swing. The other thing that's a great indicator of what you're doing is get the sun right at your back like that. You'll notice my shadow's over there. And just stand here and watch your shadow. And you can see exactly what you're doing. Get the sun right at your back, and you can watch if your hip, you watch my hip. See, my hip is staying right there. You can watch if you're going this way. You can do many, many things that you don't know that you're doing. A lot of you can't afford, obviously, a video cassette machine, or most of you, though, if you had enough time, you could watch yourself in the movies, but you might get a little bit sick. But no, not really. But I want you to take that little thing, watch yourself swing with the sun right at your back. You can see your swing. And the other thing is check your divots out. When you hit a golf shot like this, if you're hitting a 5-iron, if you're hitting a 5-iron like that, come on back here. I don't take a heck of a lot of divots, you'll notice. But come on back here and take a look at your divots. And set the club right on line with the divot and say, gee, that was a good swing. Or if it's sitting way over here, you know you're coming over the top of the ball. And when you get those divots going straight, you're going to hit a lot of straight shots, because there's only two ways, no matter what anybody tells you, there's only two ways to hit the ball crooked. That's if your plane is off, which means you're pulling left or pulling right, the ball will always follow your plane. It'll never start at the target. I don't care what you do. If your plane is off, you can just kiss it off for hitting good shots right at the pin. And the other thing is if your divots are going straight, and obviously the ball is not going straight, it's because the impact your face is open or closed. It's that simple. Two things. Either the plane's straight or the club face is not square at impact. So regardless of what all the other stuff I said, if you can return the club, whether you got 12 loops in your swing like this, if you can get the club back on line, you're gonna hit the ball straight. You're not going to be very consistent, but you're going to hit the ball straight once in a while. Okay, now that I got that under control, I'll show you a few things. If you want to hit the ball, low, if this is your natural position, you want to hit the ball low, just keep everything the same and just move it back in your stance, and then just keep your head still now and just punch it right on in there, and you'll hit that ball as low as you want it that way. Not bad for a hacker, huh? Obviously, if you want to hit the ball high, you do just the opposite, but don't try it if the ball's sitting in a hole. Don't try it if the ball's on a downslope. Don't try it if the ball's below your feet. You got to pick your times when you're going to hit these shots, these trick shots, so-called. If the ball's sitting up nice and high like that, play it right off the tip of your toe, stay behind it, and you can hit the ball over a lot of trees that way. You'll notice that I hit that ball slightly left, and the reason was, same as Christopher Lee, with the ball up left, obviously when I come into the ball, the club's going to start closing because the timing's there. So you might have to aim for a little bit of a draw or a little bit of a pull. I should have aimed the ball a little right of the target, except for there's a cliff over there. I'd just as soon hit it a little left. If your divots are going straight again, like this divot, you'll notice, if you want to draw the ball, let's say start it at the buoy just right of the green there, you just aim everything just like you were going to normally hit it right at the buoy. You turn the club face right back to the target, and the key now is just stay behind it and trust yourself. Yeah, that's coming back. Got to turn the club face a little bit more in, but the same sort of thing. The more you want to hook it, the more you turn the club face in. The same way most of you have the slice down pat, so I don't need to go on that too much, but same thing applies with the slice. You aim left of the target, you square the club face back to the target, and for me, that's about as much cut as I want to hit. That's probably going to cut about 5 feet. The hook will go usually half a club to a club longer, because the club face, obviously, you're taking loft off when you hook it, and when you open the face up in relation to your stance, it's going to be more open, so you're going to need a half a club more. The other things I'd like you to watch out for when you play golf is to try to play within yourself. Try to play shots that you know you can handle. It took me many years to be able to come up with the information I've given you today. I couldn't expect you to all just say, gee, I'm going to use all that in one day. What you're going to do is try to get these basic fundamentals. Some of these things are a little bit intricate, maybe not that easy to grasp right away, but if you get a good grip, like I've showed you, and a good stance, and know how far to play away the club away from your body, where to place the ball, and get nice and relaxed. I can't tell you enough things, can't emphasize it enough to be relaxed. Feel like your wrists are nice and greased. Boy, if you can do that, you can enjoy the game. If you go up to the first tee, never seen a guy, and he's got this kind of swing, I wouldn't bet him for too much money if I was you. It's the guy who gets up there like this, and he goes, just bet him all you got. Because he's going to have trouble, especially he's going to have a lot of trouble hitting the ball under pressure. The other things I would try to work on in your game really is to try to play your smartest shot, especially when you need it. If you cut the ball, play the cut, unless you've got to go out in the practice tee and get rid of it. But if you've got a tense situation and your best shot's a 50-yard slice, aim 50 yards left. Don't be so... I see so many golfers that maybe 1 or 2 times out of 10 they hit the ball perfectly straight. They play every hole right down the middle. 9 out of 10 times they hit it in the right bushes, and 1 time they hit it straight, and that's just where they play it. Instead of playing the 9 out of 10 shot, they play the 1 out of 10 shot. I don't know how many of you do that, but that really this game is a game that you just suck in your pride and play your best shot, because they don't paint pictures of what you shot. All they do is they put down those little numbers, and when you get in, nobody wants to hear about all the 3 putts and all the bad breaks. All they want to know is what you shot. So just play smart, enjoy the game, and I hope I helped you today. Thanks a lot.